Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talking Sports. Today, we're looking at Chelsea, and really, I just have one question to ask. Are Chelsea, honestly speaking, involved in a relegation battle? Now, let's face it, Chelsea going down is not happening this season. Chelsea won't be playing in the Championship next year. Forget about it. However, you look at their recent stats, you look at their recent numbers, recent games, and you look at their next 7 fixtures, their final remaining 7 fixtures in the Premier League, and you're starting to think, well, sure, they're not going to get relegated, but how close could they actually come to the bottom 3 come the end of the season? Let's take a look at some of the recent stats, because they certainly make for startling reading. You know, from the last 20 Premier League games, Chelsea have only picked up 18 points. Only 3 teams have done worse during those last 20 Premier League games. Everton and Leicester, they've both picked up 17 points from their last 20 games, and Southampton, who have only picked up 12. No wonder they're obviously bottom of the Premier League as things stand. Now, during these 20 Premier League games, Chelsea have only scored 14 goals. Now, that is the joint worst attack from those 20 league games. The only team who have been as bad as Chelsea, it's unfortunately Southampton. Unfortunately, I mean for Southampton fans. The goal problem has been especially bad in their last 6 games, because Chelsea have only scored once during their last 6 outings. In fact, Chelsea have only scored 1 goal in 554 minutes of competitive football. Now, those are some woeful numbers, and not numbers that you'd expect from a team which splashed over £530 million this season on players in the transfer window. Now listen, the question of the video is, are Chelsea in a relegation fight? And as things stand, they are 11th in the Premier League table, and on paper they would look relatively safe. But interestingly, you know, Chelsea are 5 points closer towards the bottom 3 than they are to the top 4. Speaking of the bottom 3, it's Nottingham Forest, who are currently 18th in the standings, and they are just 12 points behind Chelsea. I say just, with Forest in poor form, with Leicester in poor form, with Southampton in poor form. And you look at the bottom 3 and the amount of games that they're losing recently, even Leeds conceding 11 goals in 2 games. You know, there's a lot of competition for relegation, and Chelsea, as I said before, won't be going down. However, Chelsea have 39 points at this moment in time, and you have to think to yourself, how many more can they possibly accumulate with the fixtures that they've got coming up? Before we get to that, by the way, Chelsea are, as I said, on 39 points. The team with the most points to get relegated from the Premier League are West Ham. They had 42 points back in 2002-2003 when they went down. Interestingly, the last team with 39 points, so the same as Chelsea have now, to go down, was Birmingham back in the 2010-2011 campaign. You'd think that Chelsea, who have still 7 games remaining, will add to that total, but then you look at their fixtures, and I mean, Chelsea, 4 of their last 7 games are against teams currently sitting in the top 4. They still have to play Manchester United, Arsenal and Manchester City all away from home, and they play Newcastle on the last day of the Premier League season. Their record against the top 3, so that is Manchester United, Arsenal and Manchester City at this moment in time, is questionable to say the least. I mean, Chelsea against Man United. Chelsea haven't beaten Man United. They're winless against the Red Devils in 10 Premier League games. 10 straight Premier League games. Their last Premier League win against Manchester United came in 2017. When it comes to their record against Arsenal, Chelsea are winless. Chelsea have 1 win from 7 games against Arsenal in all competitions. But they are winless against Manchester City in 5 straight meetings across all competitions. In fact, they've failed to score a single goal in those 5 games. Chelsea's last win against City, actually, came in that Champions League final win a few years ago. Now, put aside playing the top 4. After that, they still have to play... in between that, they still have to play Brentford and Nottingham Forest at home and Bournemouth away. Now, Chelsea are winless against Brentford in their last 2 meetings, and Brentford actually 12 months ago beat Chelsea at the Bridge 4-1. With regards to Bournemouth, Chelsea have just got 1 win from 4 against the Cherries, but they're winless at the Vitality Stadium in their last 2 visits. And then when you look at the record against Nottingham Forest, it's hard to say, obviously. Nottingham Forest recently promoted to the Premier League after a long spell away from the elite. But the last meeting between the two happened in January, where it was a 1-1 draw. But bearing in mind the statistics, the numbers, and the upcoming fixtures, we can start to create some sort of a conclusion towards our original questions. Now, are Chelsea in a relegation fight? No. Will Chelsea be relegated? Of course they won't be. The chances of that happening are minuscule. However, the enthralling view, for neutral fans, will be watching to see how close Chelsea can actually get towards that bottom 3 should their downward trajectory continue during this campaign. Obviously, it won't be a pleasant watch for Blues fans, but as things stand, I don't think Chelsea will be that far away from the bottom 3 come the end of the season.